Okay, welcome everybody. This is Billy and Cade with Harnessing Your Wealth. We're back and giving you some more insight into the horse racing industry. And I think we have some guests that you'll enjoy hearing from today. So we have John Bachelor, and I guess this is John the second, if I'm getting this right.
Oh, the fourth.
And now we got John the fourth alongside.
Oh, yeah.
Because we didn't have the third in here. We got the grandfather and grandson. So John Bachelor III is missing from this show, but needless to say, we've got a couple of guys who are going to take the SPEEDHORSE Magazine and hopefully continue to see it thrive and flourish. And we want to get some background on not only the magazine industry, specifically the SPEEDHORSE Magazine and what it's meant to this family, and also what horse racing in general has meant to the family. They've seen a lot of things over the years, met a lot of people, traveled a lot. And so from the perspective of if you're a horse racing fan, of course you better be if you're listening to this show, you're going to learn a lot about that. And then also just if you're in general more of an entrepreneurial person and you're interested in how people became successful in their careers, that's the type of client, or not client, but that's the type of guests we like to have on our show. People with interesting backgrounds and can share what made them successful and what it took, and also what they see changing in their profession and maybe what it would take for someone to get into that career path now. Thanks for joining us, both of you.
You're welcome.
You bet. Let's jump in and ask you a little bit about your background then. So, John, let me ask you directly, how did you get involved in the horse racing industry initially? And then how did that transition into the magazine business?
Okay. I grew up in South Alabama. My dad was in the ranching and farming business there. And just about an hour down the road was Guy Harris and Russell Harris. And Guy, they owned Go Rebel Go. I think he ran a fourth in All-American fraternity sometime in the 70s. So my dad and Guy were good friends. And Guy and Dad bought about 30 plus mares. They came out to a dispersal here in Texas. They bought a bunch of mares, and a lot of them were bred up. They were probably half of them were 3-bar mares. They were bred to Go Man Go, Easy Jet, and so they were in a partnership there for about a year or so, and then they needed to just for business reasons split the partnership. So one day they had Russell put together 2 straws, a short and a long, and they drew straws to see who would go first. And then they picked through the herd. And then, so my dad ends up with his set of mares. Guy has his. And so the closest racing we were to was in Callahan, Florida. So we had some horses running down at Callahan. That was my first experience at a racetrack. I was in the 10th grade. Dad took me out of school. Guy had Russell. Russell was out of school. Took us down there and left us for 2 weeks at the barns to help take care of the horses and kind of run things. I'm either 15 or 16 at the time. So that was a great experience to start with. And then in 72, my dad wanted to get closer to the horse business. He sold out the operation in South Alabama and moved to the Hondo Valley, just out of Ruidoso, to get closer to the racing horse business, but always still involved in cattle. About a little before that, Russell had moved to California, and he was working for Gene Chambliss at the time. And that's how Russell got started in the training business. So We always had that tie with Russell in California. My dad sent horses out there to him. And then I went to school in West Texas, rodeo, Sul State University in Alpine. After that, I made a choice. It was a struggle about, am I going the horse racing industry or am I going cattle? And I chose, for several reasons, to go with the cattle industry. And so for about 20
actually makes money, probably, John.
Well, I'll get to that part. Okay. Now it makes money. So I chose to go to cattle way. We had already, Susan and I, planned to homeschool our boys and raise them in a ranch environment. And so for about 20 years, I ran mama cows and preconditioned cattle. And my John IV's dad, we call him John Blue, distinguish between which Johns are out there. And he's an attorney as well, and he was doing some work for an outfit out of Oklahoma City that Andy Golden, who owned SpeedHorse at the time, had commissioned this company to sell SpeedHorse private treaty. And so John Blue, and working for this company, they found out that we had racing background, involved in the quarter horse industry, and they began to put a little pressure on Blue. Y'all need to buy SPEEDHORSE Magazine. So John Blue would come to me and he says, "Hey, Dad, this could be a pretty good opportunity. It gets you back in the horse business full time." And I said, "Look, I got cattle in 3 states. I like what I'm doing. I'm horseback every day. I don't think so." So after about a year, the cattle market broke. We took a really big hit. And I told him one day, I said, "You know what? Maybe we ought to stick our nose in that quarter horse racing application." And so we did, and we bought it. And that's how we got started with SpeedHorse.
And did you sell the cattle at that point, or did you still have cattle?
Oh, no, I still have cattle today, but for the most part, of course, I quit preconditioning. And I think we had, at the time, I owned 400 and partnered on another 400 head, and we sold out all of that in order to devote the time to SpeedHorse that we needed to.
I mean, that's one way to get into business, is just say jump in with both feet. Did you know anything about the industry when you bought the magazine?
Not a publication, absolutely zero. So the thing that was attractive to me is I have an MBA and some experience in managing people. And so I looked at the employees, and the lead graphic guy had been there 35 years, the editor 30 years. Another girl in graphics had been there 20 years. One of the salespeople had been there 30 years. And I thought, well, you know what? I don't know how to run a magazine, but they do. And so if I just kind of manage them a little bit and make the hard decisions, we might be able to make this work. And I've always told people SpeedHorse is an employee-run business.
Mm-hmm. When did you buy it?
When?
Mm-hmm.
We've had it for 15 years.
15 years.
So the Golden family, what was their decision to leave the industry? Just wanted to do something else?
Connie's health had gotten bad, Andy's mother, and they were just ready to make a change.
I see. Now, looking back, you got into this industry, as you mentioned, kind of it was a decision that you made. You jumped in. Looking back, are you grateful that you made that decision, or would you do it differently?
It's been a very good decision. It was it was a great move on our part to get in. And we got in, at the very bottom, learning the publication industry. We had the racing background. So I listened to my employees a lot.
And how many employees do you have?
We have 13 in office.
Mm-hmm.
What changes did you make when you took over? I know you leaned on your staff, which you mentioned, but what changes did you make to grow it, make it more popular now today?
Well, you guys remember, and so does your audience, that at the time we bought Speed Horse, they put out a publication every week. It was a weekly magazine put out. And so after the first year, I looked at that and I go, why are we doing this every week? We need to go monthly. And so that was one of the first big decisions that we made, was go with a monthly publication. And it has turned out to be one of the best business decisions I've ever made.
Weekly, man, that's a lot.
Oh,
a lot of work.
Yeah. It was a brutal for your office. It was.
Back in the day when there were a lot of, there was, just seemed like when I was coming up and riding, and for example, going to Los Alamitos, I remember they had quarter week, whatever it was called, Brad McKinsey magazine, and Sean Swaneville worked for him. And, there was so much activity. It seemed like there was always something to write about. There was always races for the weekend. But that kind of changed. Those costs are so excessive to put out and, print, and then to mail and do all those things with the publication. Kind of changed into more of like a digital format. If you wanted a weekly summary, here's a digital update from the week. Is that
right?
Is that kind of what happened, or was it the racing that changed that kind of forced your hand?
Well, I have a cowboy background. Both John IV and my whole family say, well, Papa, you're pretty much technological challenged. So, and I agree with them. I'm slow to come around on some of these things, but eventually we had to realize, hey, there's some changes. Either we make changes or we get lost. And so we started making the changes. And so that's one of the reasons we developed our new website that's now up and going. And it took quite a while to get it developed. I had to wait till I knew I had the right staff in place to do that. It took several years. And when I knew I had the right people in place, then we hired design people. And the whole design of the website is basically Marion Maynard, who's our head of our sales here in Speedhorse, and Lauren Banks, that works here in the office. And they basically designed the whole website, and then we had it built by Back 40. And it's a great addition. That we have basically an old industry. I'm 71, and everything's going more digital, and we're starting to see more activity with our magazine online, people reading it online, than we are with a hard print copy. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's going. So as the older generation moves out of the quarter horse industry, maybe not while I'm still involved, but while John takes the reins, one day it may only be digital. I don't know. We know it's coming.
I don't know I can't speak for my entire generation, but I much prefer the paperback copy than reading it online. So I don't know if that's hope at all.
Because I've beat that into his system for
yeah.
He didn't know what a newspaper was until I showed him one day. I still get a physical newspaper, but that's just me. But you're right, John. What we call the older generation, and the nice way to say they're gone because they died, and they're now replaced by the younger group, which Cade is probably anomaly because most of them that I'm around, they hate paper. They want the digital version, right,
Yeah.
John? The fourth?
Yeah. I'm probably also an anomaly just because I love the magazine business, the horse racing and stuff. But yeah, most people, it's moving digital for sure.
So what happened with this? John, your dad, rancher, you're a rancher, and then your son, John Blue, and now John the Fourth are attorneys.
I
You guys
know.
didn't want to get into the ranching business, or what happened
Their
there?
wages.
Well, so we homeschooled our boys there at the ranch. And I told them I have two sons, Jacob Bachelor, we call him Bodie, and then John III, we call him Blue. And I told them right off the start, I said, hey guys, you're going to have to get a really good education to support your agricultural habits. And so the way things were changing. So homeschooling, you can put them on a fast track. When both Blue and Bodie were 16 years old, they graduated from homeschool. They clept out the first 2 years of college, so they walked on campus as juniors. And they graduated from college at 18 and law school at 21.
Wow.
So they took me serious. And both of them are accountants, and one has a master's in finance and one in tax. So here, John the Fourth, and he's following in his dad's footsteps with accounting degree and law school. And John's always had an interest in speed horse. He interned with us last year. And out of all the opportunities he had ahead of him, he said, Papa, I want to work for Speed Horse. And I said, you're welcome. Come right on. And so here he is.
No, somebody's got to account for all that money you guys are collecting over there, right? So we got to have a good accountant on hand at all times. And also help you figure out how to pay less in tax.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's a big part of running a business.
As far as you guys do a lot of traveling for Speed Horse, I mean, all the major races, all the horse sales. Any memorable stories or events from all the years of traveling that you guys can think of?
I forgot how many years ago, maybe 6 or 7 years. I don't know exactly, but Susan and I were invited by AQHA to join a delegation to go to Brazil and represent quarter horse racing here. And so we went there and visited a lot of the big farms over there. We had known some of those Brazilian buyers through the sales. And that was a great trip. And it was planned out very well. We ended up going to the jockey club at Sorocaba and saw some races there. It was unique to see. The Brazilians, they run in lanes. It's not a wide open track. They have specific lanes that at the starting gate, the horses run down. And that was different. So we enjoyed that. But here in the U.S., some of our, mine and Susan's travel, we like to support the smaller tracks as well as the large tracks. But we put out an effort to support the small tracks. And so a couple of years ago, we went to Sandy Downs out of Idaho Falls, Idaho. And that's probably one of the most fun times we've ever had at a racetrack. I'm telling you, the people loved it. They were into it. Their little $10,000 race meant more to them than $1 million did at the bigger tracks, you know. And that was a great time. And then we just past summer, we went up to Rock Springs, Wyoming, to Sweetwater Downs, and covered their closing weekend there. I think it was closing, but one of their bigger days. And it was, it was their opening weekend.
Right.
And so they said, hey, we've never had anybody come here before. We've never had anybody do this. So we were really welcomed, and it was just fun being with people who love racing like those people do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a very memorable experience as well.
Did you meet Eugene Joyce? Is that who was your
Yes, we did.
host? Yeah,
We sure did.
good guy. He's full of stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was actually on our podcast a while ago. I met him years and years ago. His dad was the owner of Wyoming Downs for a period of time, and so his family's been involved in operating racetracks for many years. But he's done a great thing up there in Wyoming, opening doors that needed to be open. As you mentioned, these small tracks, that's the heart and soul of horse racing. At one point in time, all tracks were just an idea, and Los Alamitos included, and Ruidoso Downs, and all these folks that had this vision of just wanted to get together and race their horses against one another. It was just more or less a ego thing. Who's got the fastest horse? And then it kind of took on a life of its own, and now so many things have changed over the years, and I've been involved in racing my whole life. It's just something I had a passion for when I was a young kid, and always loved the idea of being a jockey and riding fast horses, going to all these big racetracks, and just watching the movies around it. And I've mentioned multiple times, just seeing it, wanting to be part of that lifestyle, but not really realizing how difficult the lifestyle is for a jockey when you don't have that natural weight,
Yes.
keeping that weight down. So there are some difficult sides to it. What are some of the things that you've seen that you feel like are detriments to the industry and certainly need to be fixed or changed, if you will?
Well, we're early on, of course, the drugs were an issue in racing, and it was for many years. And now we're starting to see that all the work that's been done toward trying to take care of the drug issue in horse racing. And so I'm real thankful for that. And that's a great thing. And then the other thing that's been a big focus in the last couple of years that I'm thankful to see is the safety of the horses. It seems to be a greater concern now for the care of the horse and also the jockey as well. Mm-hmm. And so we see a lot more attention given to that. And I think those are probably the two most important things that stand out to me.
You have to cover the good, you get to cover the good stories, but you also know and see some of the negative issues out there. Can you think back on maybe a few things that were unfortunate that you had to deal with or had to cover or had to make a decision on, even when it casts a shadow over what's going on?
I'll never forget sitting in the stands at the All-American fraternity, and J.M. Miracle won, and he couldn't even get back had a very difficult time getting back to
the winner's circle.
The win circle. And so the winner of the All-American had always been our cover for our next issue, our October issue. And I told him, there's no way. We're not putting this horse on our cover. We're not putting this race on our cover. Mm-hmm. We're going to put the Derby on. Mm-hmm. And so we did. We put the Derby on, and then we did write about the fraternity, gave it maybe 2 pages, a page and a half, I don't know, a picture or two. But that's probably one of the bigger deals right up front. We hadn't been in this very long. Decision to make. And so we've done the same in Louisiana. When some of the known people that uses drugs on their horses would win some of the bigger Louisiana races, I'd call Bruce or Laura and I said, there's no way. This month is our month to feature Louisiana. I am not going to feature this race.
I think that's important. I mean, I know that's tough because let's talk about the potential conflicts of interest for a second. You know, with the magazine owners, publishers, the folks you make most of your money from advertisement, right?
Exactly.
Stallions and ranch owners, etc. So how do you deal with conflict of interest when you have that kind of a situation crop up when there might be someone who is advertising heavily or wants to with your magazine, but you also have, whether or not proven, strong indication that there's something unjust going on with their program. How do you deal with that?
That's a tough question.
Well, you know, it really is not. It's not a very tough question because I've been accused all my life of being black and white. You know, John, you're black or white.
Yeah.
And so you're either going to live by integrity or you're not. And you don't let anything get in the way. Money, approval of man, any of those issues. I don't live with that. So we just try to do what's right. By the end of the day, I want to know we've done what's right. Mm-hmm. And so that's basically how we make our decision. And you know what? It has cost us dollars. It cost us dollars when we were faced with two of my camera people at one of the speed horse races caught a jockey in the wind circle with a machine. Mm. And so so one of my employees posted that, like we always do, on Facebook, got a phone call and said, take that down. The machine is showing. Mm. And so she called me and said, well, what do we do? I said, that's not my problem. That's the jockey's problem. Take it down. And then I turned it over to the authorities. And then, boy, it hit the fan. And the backlash we got from jockeys, owners, and trainers for that one decision cost us tens of thousands of dollars. And still today, it has a negative effect in the jockey colony towards Speed Horse for doing that. And I would do it no different if next week we caught a jockey with a machine in the wind circle. It's just, you're either going to live with integrity or you're not. And so I don't apologize for that. It cost us, like I said, it cost tens of thousands of dollars. At one time on Facebook, we had over 20 jockeys that posted a negative post towards Speed Horse, and there were 2 or 3 theories out there why we did what we did. They didn't know what they were talking about. And there was something like 40 trainers and owners that posted negative posts on Facebook about our decision to take those pictures and turn over to the authority. It was a Speed Horse sponsored race. So how many people are going to enter in a Speed Horse sponsored race where they know the sponsor is covering up cheating?
So to me, it's just like you walking in and watching a trainer stick a needle in one, right before the race, and then walking away and acting like you saw nothing.
I know. So, you asked the question, what were the difficult decisions that and the conflict of interest? To me, that was an easy decision. Yes, it cost us money, but so what? We did what was right.
Well, it's good to know that there's people like you out there, John.
Ethical.
Refreshing.
It truly is. If you look at it, boil it down, is it hard or is it easy? And if you're only worried about the money, then it's hard. But if the money doesn't mean everything to you and you can live and you say, I'll look at myself in the mirror. I mean, I would hope that more of the media professionals in our industry would listen to this conversation, because I talk to a lot of people. I've been in this business my whole life, as I mentioned. I serve on several committees. I've represented Utah. I've been the president of the Utah Racing Association. But you see these conflicts play out in real time, and people don't report or don't bring the facts to the table when we all know what are the facts. And folks that get on Facebook a lot of times cheering and applauding for the folks that are known cheaters. It's hard for me to watch. Very, very hard for me to watch that. It's like, what are you not seeing? What do you not see about this situation? It is frustrating. And I wish there was a way to clean it all up and have everything a level playing field. But as we've known over the years, one drug gets caught, one person gets caught, and the baton is passed. And they find something else. There's a new cocktail, there's a new person in charge. And it doesn't take long for these things to start cropping up. It's almost you can smell it. If you've been in this business long enough, you can start smelling the corruption or the activity that's not legit.
John, how do you navigate those tough decisions with your staff? You know, when there's something that goes on, for example, I mean, elephant in the room would be the Triple Crown winner last year. You know, how do you navigate something like that? You don't want to give them more publicity than they deserve, but also nothing has been set in stone at that point in time. So with your staff, I mean, how do you point them in the right direction?
Well, let me back up. When we were going through this thing with the jockey and the machine, I had staff that would go out to a restaurant with their family and be wearing a SPEEDHORSE jacket or cap, and they would get harassed in the restaurant while they're eating with their family because they're associated with SPEEDHORSE, because SPEEDHORSE took a stand against the jockey and the machine. So they know where I'm at. They right up front, they know where I am. They know, the salespeople know it's going to cost them ads. They're on commission. The editorial knows that, we're not going to have the big feature story that we thought we were going to have for that issue. Our photographers, they know that their hard work on the track to get all the good pictures, they're not going to be seen. But that's my choice. That's how I choose to run this business. And all my staff stand with me and support me in that.
That's a refreshing way to look at things. I mean, I appreciate that. I really do.
You in the same line there, John the Fourth, when you take over?
Yes, I am. We do care a lot about the integrity of the sport, and we do all we can.
Are you involved in the staff meetings as well when you come around?
Yes. I try to offer a little diplomacy sometimes. I do see things black and white, but
You're a little more in the gray area. See, I'm more like your grandpa, like the gray area. This is
maybe
one side or the other.
The law training got to me a little bit, but
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we do care about the integrity very much.
That's good.
That's good. So you guys mentioned future new website. Now you have the capability of maybe being more efficient with your stories and posting and getting access to information, which is most likely where the industry is heading. Do you have a group of people that are just dedicated to handling website updates?
It is our normal staff. Miriam oversees our website, but she's also head of sales. And then I'll just take Ruidoso for an example. So I had 6 staff out for the sale at Ruidoso last week. So they 3 of them are running the booth. I got 3 photographers there. They're taking pictures of high sellers, other horses, people at the sale. Friday night, of the show. We rent a house. Everybody's there. Friday night, the sale's over at whatever time it was, 10 maybe. They all went to bed at 2:00. They were up that long, processing their pictures. I mean, one photographer may take 500-700 pictures that night, and all we want is 5.
Wow.
Or 10.
Gotta get that good shot.
And so it's the same for Saturday night. And it's the same program. I think Saturday night, for whatever reason, they were more like 3:00 getting in bed that morning. I'm the cook. I cook and do all of that. Excuse me. So then we load up, we go to Albuquerque. We have a house, same staff up there, plus one more. And we cover the races. And on All-American Day, and they were 4:00 Tuesday morning, getting in bed from all that they had to do for the magazine, for the website, and for Facebook and TikTok.
And
so that's how dedicated my staff is. All of them do the work of 1.5 people. They love it. Their goal is to be the best they can be, to turn out the very best product that they can turn out, and they're dedicated to that. I feed them very, very well.
Is that what the key is? You just feed them well? Is that what I need to do over here?
Yes.
Cade loves to eat. I don't know what I could cook him, but
Yep. Get a
eating more
foreman
than
in
2
here.
hours.
Steaks, potatoes. Yep.
Well, here at the office, I feed them 3 days a week in the office. So
you feed. Oh, so you haul it in, you cater it in. You're not.
So
in the office.
So Heather in bookkeeping will send out an email and said, today we're eating at Charleston's or someplace. And here's the menu. They look on the menu. They decide what they want. They tell Heather, she orders it. She goes and gets it, brings it to the office. And so they eat. So there's great benefit in that. And I got that from my dad back on the farm in Alabama. We had a kitchen and we fed our hands breakfast in the morning. We fed them at noon, and then they went home at night and ate. And that was a real plus. And so Susan and I stayed with that in our ranching. We would always feed our hands. Good. Feed them morning, noon. And so I brought that over to Speedhorse as well. And, my dad said, you feed them good and work them hard. It works.
Sounds like
Like
a great
that
boy.
old school mindset. There, you got grain in the morning.
Yeah. You just feed them and you work them, and then they win for you. That's the key. That's what I need to do. No, what are some of the other ways that you keep your staff happy and doing the job and performing? Anything other than just feeding them?
What was the last statement you said?
I just wanted to know, how do you keep your staff doing the job and keep quality employees?
Well, there's just a basic biblical belief. You do unto others as you have them do unto you. And so we treat our staff like we want to be treated. And so there's another principle there is that you reap what you sow. And so we know that if we sow good to our staff, we're going to reap good. And that's some of the major management guidelines I live by, and it works. And so we just try to treat them right, treat them fair. They have their life. They have things come up in their life. They have children. They have babies. They have sickness. They have all kind of things that happen. And we're always willing to help them work through that in order to get to the other side, to get back to some kind of normalcy. And, you just treat people like you want to be treated, basically.
I'm interested in the breakdown of the publication business with regards to the revenue. You don't have to give me specific numbers, but as percentages, um, rank the revenue stream for a publishing company like yours, from the subscription side of it to the advertising side of it and whatever else you make money doing.
On the subscription side, as with the new website, the online, we've seen that drop just a little because more people are reading online. It's part of what we talked about earlier. It's just the way the world's going. I'm like you. I personally like a hard copy, but on the revenue side, on sales, I have a great sales staff. Marion oversees our sales, and they're all very aggressive. And so our goal is that we want to see sales increase 5% from year to year. And most of the time we can get there. So now that we have the website, that will generate additional sales as well. But on the print side, that's the killer, because last year we saw 3 increases in our printing costs in 1 year. Mm. And that's when we knew we had to get very serious about a website. And so our print cost has gone up over 30% in the last 2 years, I think. And it's a killer, from paper to ink to postage, handling, the whole side of it. It's a real killer. And I just don't know how much longer you can take that,
Yeah.
Young John, what do you see as opportunities for additional revenue? Have you thought through this a little bit?
Yeah, I would like to see, this is a little bit dreamy, but
we like that. We like dreaming.
Yeah. I would like to see all of the horse statistics and data get compiled in one spot. And I think with the surgence of AI and through different softwares and stuff, I think that we are not using that data as well as we could be using it. And
that's interesting. And then maybe make a subscription or a certain amount for a one-time access to that data. For example, you guys put out some good information on, every breeding season on pedigrees and
top broodmare sires, and we love looking
what works, what's good. That information is important when you're starting to think about breeding your mare and what pedigrees cross well.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that idea though, because I'm very much a statistical mind. I love to look at the stats for sports teams, and I mean racing is obviously my favorite. So more information there is always something I appreciate. Owners and horses and pedigrees and what's performing best, what percentage of this is doing better, and I always find that interesting to browse through. So I think it's a good idea.
So I have a very high regard for Robin Glenn as well as everyone. And I asked Robin when we first started on our website, I said, what is your advice? We want to go the right direction. And she said, John, we need more statistical data. She says people really love it. They eat it up. The barrel racing industry has started putting it out, and it has really grown. And so we went into the website with the idea of we have to develop the statistical data. So when John comes on board, that's forefront in his mind. And I said I hate AI. I do. But this is one area where AI is going to benefit SpeedHorse.
We love investing in AI. That's a big part of our investment portfolio over here. But I'm like you, John. I'm waiting for the day when these robots come in and take over and say, you no longer need it here, pal. So, we've got it from here. I don't know when that day's coming, but probably sooner than we think.
The questions I sent over to you, I said, I'm doing a podcast with John Bachelor. He owns SPEEDHORSE Magazine. Generate some questions, 10 seconds, it's done. It would have taken me 30 minutes. So
That's cheating, really. You go to college and then all of a sudden AI is doing all your homework for you. What's going on? They don't have the same experience.
AI got developed after I graduated, so
Okay.
a little different.
Yeah, still, you had a lot better technology.
That's true.
Not the same deal. But I like the stats, important. And we've also got another business idea that we need to implement. So we'll talk to you offline. Okay. You guys,
Okay.
Steal.
we're not going to
steal
get
the
that
idea.
out there in public and have somebody steal this possibly. So yeah, we'll get involved in something else that needs to be done in this regard. What is one thing or a few things that you guys are hoping to see with SpeedHorse, and you're going to hopefully you got a succession plan there now, so that's a nice thing to know, which is something I totally agree with. Is your business has continuity and continuation planning. How do you want to leave your magazine, to the next generation, John? What do you want to see it doing?
Well, first, that wouldn't happen without John coming on board, John IV. And so we're very thankful for him and his interest in the horse racing industry. Just like his grandmother, Susan. Susan knows everybody. She takes her pictures. She writes her name down. They know her, and they love her in the industry. And they have come to like John and like him very well. And when he's not with us, they ask about him all the time. That's very important. I tell everybody they like Susan, they like John. They just tolerate me, basically. But so I'm real comfortable. I feel really good with as Susan and I get to a point somewhere out there that we start slowing down, that John will take the reins and go forward with it. And I think basically the industry will dictate what direction we go, from here.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing everything that needs to be done right now.
Sounds like you've invested a pretty good chunk of money to set the platform up for the future.
And that is exactly what Susan and I have tried to do. We tried to set the table so when John comes in, it's there. Mm-hmm. All the hard work's done. All the financial difficulties are done. It's just there for him to pick up and go forward with.
Sounds like you don't even have much to worry about, John. You just get in the boat and sail away.
That sounds nice. We'll see how the sailing goes.
There'll be new problems, I promise. But, just interesting how things change. And in my business, in our business, we watch so many families, and we've helped so many families through all these years. I've been involved in my profession for 28 years now after I retired as a jockey. It's a real natural transition from riding racehorses to becoming a financial advisor. That was extremely difficult, I will say. But I'm interested, as we watch all these families that we worked with and some that we watch from afar, and oftentimes what's built and developed and sacrificed from one generation is squandered away by the third. And we call it shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. So what's maybe your comment there and how you've created the right mindset in your family, especially your grandchildren or grandchild here in John IV, that you feel comfortable that the culture won't change and the hard work and the ethics won't change?
It's not going to happen. I'm totally confident it won't happen. I understand what you're saying in the ranching industry. I've seen ranches that were 40 40,000 acre ranches, some 100,000 acre ranches turned over to the next generation, and it doesn't even survive. And they start selling off large chunks of land. And I really hate to see that, because you never get to put it back together again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see the same thing you're talking about in ranching. But John was raised with the same values that Susan and I have, that his mom and dad have. And he has chosen to walk in those values. And I have no doubt that he's not going to squander anything away. He's going to maintain and continue on.
How do you recommend to people listening? What's the key to doing that for your grandchildren, your children, grandchildren? How do you set that up properly?
Well, this is where we're probably going to lose a lot of people right here. But when you establish Jesus Christ as your Lord, and you walk according to the Word of God and obey the Word of God, that's how you build this. And that's been the light we've walked in. And no way am I saying that we're perfect. We're but I'm saying is everybody's got a standard. Everybody has a standard that they live by, and that's our standard. And so it's is the Word of God. And if we walk in that, then John's going to walk in it. His basic foundation beliefs and decision making is going to be based off the Word. What does it say?
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that's the standard. So we're right there with you guys, and we think you got a heck of a family just by here meeting John IV for the first time, and just can see the character and the quality of a young man he is there. So I'm sure you're very proud, and you're in very capable hands. And we love the stories of success and families that can sustain it, not just keep it for a fleeting moment and then watch it disappear. So it's been refreshing to get your opinions, your thoughts on not only the horse racing industry, but what it takes to keep a family intact and to keep the family values alive. So
Yes.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us for Harnessing Your Wealth today. And those of you out there listening, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any thoughts or comments, and certainly reach out to John and John IV. You can find them on SPEEDHORSE.com and all the other social media platforms that they post or share information. Thanks a bunch, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Cade.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. For more information about today's show, please check out the show notes. Visit our website at www.petersonws.com or give us a call at 801-475-4002. Peterson Wealth Services is a registered investment advisor. This is a paid-for advertisement. Information presented on this program is believed to be factual and up-to-date, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. Discussions and answers to questions do not involve the rendering of a personalized investment advice, but are limited to the dissemination of general information. A professional advisor should be consulted before implementing any of the options presented. Peterson Wealth Services.